Tell me a little bit about, yourself, who Vince Del Monte is, and how you became who you are.
Cool. So I grew up in a Christian home as a super skinny guy, long distance runner, nicknamed Skinny Vinny all through high school, all through university, and lived with a bunch of buff dudes, and really had no idea that muscle could actually, get you lots of stuff. And I had this fascination with muscle, but I was a long distance runner, so I couldn't really pursue that curiosity of what if I shifted all this running effort into the gym? Could I build muscle too? I graduated university with an exercise science degree, and I had this interest in being a personal trainer, but I didn't look like a personal trainer. So that's when I decided to make the shift to getting rid of the Skinny Vinny nickname and seeing if I could build some muscle, and I did. And that was kind of the launching pad to starting a career as a trainer. And just really changing the trajectory of my life. And I quickly discovered that muscle could be a stepping stone to getting virtually anything you want in life. And it started with my career, but I eventually started to realize that I could reach more people through the internet. A couple years later, as a trainer who was working, I was actually making great money working as a trainer and selling personal training. That was my job. I was the guy that sold you personal training if you joined the gym. And I was also falling in love with the world of sales and working on commission and writing my own paycheck. And through a couple people, I was being introduced to books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad and the Cash Flow Quadrant. And I started really seeing the world from a different perspective, and started seeing I could have more impact and more reach via the internet. And through those books, and through this job, earning earning commission and leveraging my time, I saw these guys on the internet who were selling ebooks off these, literally 96-page sales letters. And I was like, I wonder if anybody buys these ebooks, and I wonder if this is a side gig or their full-time job. And I was just curious. I went down the rabbit hole, and I quickly found out that this one guy who was selling a $97 ebook was selling 10 copies a day. And, 25-year-old guy was trying to figure out the math. Like, that's $1,000 a day, $30,000 a month. I said that's impossible. There's no one in the world who can make $30,000 a month. Period. That was where my mindset was back then. And I went into forums and I found out guys who were working with them, and it was legit. And I'm like, wow, so he's got this fitness information business selling air. He's basically selling, ebooks, charging $97, and all he was doing was marketing his story. Former skinny guy, gained muscle naturally without, long hours in the gym, without using, bogus supplements. And I'm like, that's my story. And that was my introduction to the world of internet marketing in 2005. And I launched an ebook called No Nonsense Muscle Building, Skinny Guy's Secrets to Insane Muscle Gain. And over the last, I've been doing this for 12 years now. Wow. And, within the first 2 years, I should go back to the beginning. My first ebook sale after I launched my business, 6 months after I launched, with a mentor, after I put 2 credit cards together to get some help, I sold my first copy. And believe it or not, it was my mom. Yeah. And then my second copy was sold to a guy in my gym who knew me. Yeah. And I quickly realized, man, this isn't going to be easy. So 2 years later, I kept pursuing. I got started going to these things called masterminds, and I started learning. And within 2 years, I was making more with the online fitness business, marketing to skinny guys who wanted to build muscle, than I was in the gym. And that's when I fired my boss. And then within 2 years after that, it grew to a 7-figure online fitness business, and it's been there for over 8 years now. And that was like the fitness chapter of my life. I consider that my career, and a really awesome career. But now today, fast track, when you've been online for that kind of time, people start to seek you out and ask you, hey, do you offer coaching, mentorship? Do you help people do what you've done? And now I've transitioned from, fitness coach to business coach. And it was always my goal, but I mean, I didn't want to, you got to have you've got to have serious track record, to really appeal to a lot of people. So now I've got a coaching program, essentially the same thing I was a product of when growing my coaching program. Growing my business, and we have over 75 people in a high ticket Figure Mastermind coaching program, and I still have my fitness business on autopilot, but my number one focus right now is helping men and women do the same thing that I've done the past decade, and that's kind of like the 12-year timeline in about a few minutes there.
Wow, that's exciting. And I mean, what would you say when you were selling your ebook really got people to act and buy immediately? Like, what was your claim to fame, if you want to call it?
Yes, 3 things. I mean, I had a dramatic transformation. I gained over 40 pounds in 6 months. So I actually didn't know that was like, I got called out for steroids and that's impossible. And I mean, I've got the pictures and all the photos and everything to prove it. And I guess that was a really bold claim to make. So, I hammered that. I teach my people, make a big, bold, ballsy claim as long as you can back it up. So I had a big promise. And then the second thing was I was very crystal clear on who I was speaking to, which is, what marketing is, knowing who's in front of you. And I was helping guys achieve their first muscle building transformation, their first 30, 40 pounds without drugs, without bogus supplements, and in less time. So I was marketing to beginners. I wasn't marketing to the big buff dude, the guys that wanted to add another inch on their arms, strength guys. It was to beginners, and I just doubled down on helping the beginners build their first, substantial amount of muscle. And that was my brand for, essentially it still is.
So how would you get, like, say if I wanted to know, if I'm watching this video and I want to know about launching an ebook, right? Because I even have an ebook coming out. My book, Unleash the Barracuda, is coming out in 2019, and I'm thinking, like, there's so many different ways I can market this, right? Like, would you say that I want people to act now? So is it a webinar? Do I get in front of them in social media talking about the book? Give me a breakdown, teach me a quick tidbit for all the business owners, people that want to tap into Vince Del Monte's mind. Give us a little something. What do you suggest? How do I go about selling ebooks quickly?
Yeah, ebooks. You're not making any money on the first sale. First of all, it's a lost leader. The purpose of your first book is to buy customers and to show them that you're legit and that you can help them. And it's likely going to be a lower dollar offer, and you're going to have some upsells, and you might break even with the upsells. But the first product has to solve a big problem in a fast way. This is how, don't blame me, blame God. This is how He wired our brains. We're irrational creatures. We want everything yesterday, and we got to make a really enticing offer with some unique angles that have legit credibility tied to them, and you're likely going to go low dollar. I like the physical book model, but it's even more expensive to get a book because you got to ship it, and there's a physical cost to it. But I built my brand on physical products, like getting inside people's front doors, and I see a lot of my buddies didn't do physical products because they're just looking at the numbers, but I saw the value of owning attention, and that's the only way you own attention, by being in somebody's home on their counter. So I would do a physical book, and what I would do next is I have a physical newsletter, and this is the physical newsletter. My book is up here on the bookshelf over here. And
let's see the book. Plug the book. Just plug it.
Let me get it.
Come on.
So there's Living Large.
Nice.
So that's in bookstores, legit book, publisher and all.
Nice.
And, I give this book away for free. We charge shipping, $7 or something. Yeah. And we ship this book, and then there's a couple upsells behind it that will support your journey. And when I say upsells, don't think of that the wrong way. We find that upsells actually are the number one way to solidify somebody's initial decision, because it makes them more bought into what they just did. So we find the more upsells, the better. You actually get better success stories versus the people that just take the book because they're not all in. So don't ever think, oh, I don't want to be pushy. It's actually the opposite. By not being pushy, you're actually not projecting a sign of confidence that, hey, we've got even more stuff to get you more results. So we do that. And then, you know, obviously, if you've got a great product, you know, the psychology here is if I believe that this is a great product, why wouldn't I give it away for free? And then, you know, from the money standpoint, next I've got a newsletter. It's called Maximize Your Muscle. And inside Maximize Your Muscle is a workout of the month. So every month it changes and it's built on a curriculum. And because my brand's evolved beyond just muscle, it's called Maximize Your Muscle and M5 Mentoring. So in each newsletter, I talk about the 5 M's of manhood, which are muscle, mindset, money, mission, and marriage. And we charge $50 for this, and we have 600-700 people who receive that newsletter every month. So I make money from this, and I make no money from this. And now I have a coaching program as well, and via this newsletter, I can start talking to people about how they can use their passion, how they can take their credibility and their love for fitness and turn it into a fitness information business if they choose. And then they can get introduced to my $1,700 mastermind that they can come and sit in on. And at that event, they'll learn about joining my 12-month coaching program, which is $18,000. So that's essentially my business in a nutshell. If you're wondering, you know, why is he giving away that great book for free? Because we've got the newsletter and then the event and then the mastermind. And a lot of people, if they see you as somebody they aspire to be like, they will go deep on all your stuff. And that's the best value you can offer them when they get more and more access to you and your world. And that's essentially my business model in a nutshell.
I like that you're so confident with your price, you know, because a lot of people in that industry, you know, it's a hush hush, you know, nobody talks about prices, you know, they don't want to talk about prices, but I like how you just are so confident. You let people know, hey, it's $18,000 a year, take it or leave it. You want to come to my mastermind? $1,700. I like that.
Well, you know where I learned that from? Grant Cardone. You know, I was at his $6,000 event the other month, and he said, you've got to bring the price up early. And in most sales conversations, people wait till the end. I want you to know what I'm charging so that when you go watch my YouTube videos, read my Instagram posts, you can start figuring out, does the value tip? Like, holy cow, I've already got my value and I'm not even in the program yet. I want you to know the price. That way you have something to weigh everything I'm saying against. Like everything I'm saying might sound good if it's free. But what if then, oh no, there's a price attached to that? So that I intentionally get the price out as fast as possible.
I like that. Tell me about that board behind you. What's that board all about?
So I have a business coach, Craig Ballantyne. He came over to my house. He's from Toronto. Not often do you get your coach to come over to your house. And he's the author of a book called The Perfect Life. What's it called? The Perfect Day Formula.
Nice.
So this is his next thing. So this is the Perfect Week Formula. And Craig came over, and you know, I'm a dad. I've got 2 kids, and I just had a 3rd baby girl. So it's crazy around here. I've got a coaching program, you know, with 75 people's expectations I'm managing, almost 15 team members. So I have to be highly organized, and he teaches that structure equals freedom. And when he came over, we scripted out my entire week. So it started off with a 2-hour planning block where I map out next week on a Saturday morning, and you start with the big rocks. So, you know, daddy time with the kids in the morning, date night once a week, you know, church on Sundays, maybe, you know, dinner between 5 and 8, cell phone goes off between 5 and 9, all these like cool things, content creation, you know, Friday's podcast day, and everything is scripted, and I need that. And I don't execute on it, but the way I look at it, it's kind of like a meal plan. You know, your coach gives you a meal plan, and it'll get you shredded if you follow it. The challenge isn't like it's sticking to it. So the more compliant I become to this plan, just like the more compliant you become to your meal plan, the faster the results kick in. I keep that there so I can see, you know, where my hard stops are, because that's really like how you get a lot done. You've got to have hard stops on all those different blocks in your day, or else, you know, there's that law that says, you know, everything will expand with the amount of time you have available. So we crunch a lot and we work against the clock, one thing after the other.
Tell me about this $1,700 speaking event. Tell me about the speakers that are coming. Tell me why I need to act today. Tell me where I need to act. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, sell me right now. I want to. If I'm watching this, I want to buy right now, today.
Hey, well, listen. This is happening with or without you, man. There's 7 billion people in the world, so if you don't come, somebody else will take your seat.
Well, I'm waiting for my invite.
No, Jay, you're welcome to come as a guest, man. Yeah, we'd love to have you, man. I got Bejo Schooling coming, Joel Marion, BioTrust supplements. We got Bejo's Fit Body Bootcamp franchise, both running 9-figure businesses. So the guys I asked to come and speak are not guys who are making money 3-4 years ago. They're people that have real teams, real companies. They've got crazy ad spend. What you're doing over there. I want to hear from what you guys are doing. I want to know how you've been making money the last 90 days. I want to know some of your failures. I want to know your victories. I want to know how you're getting attention, what platforms you're using. So we bring those guys in to teach us. That's day one. That's teaching day. I leverage all my relationships, and these guys love to come. I've got a full room of 100+ entrepreneurs. So they remember when they were getting started and they were trying to get access to what are these guys doing? Pull back the curtain, show us what's really happening. And I share my flops. Like, I launched a clothing line. It was an epic failure, and I share this stuff with the group. I had a tech team that screwed everything up on a recent launch and cost me a ton of money, and I had to fire them, and it was a disaster, and it was embarrassing to share because they're all looking up to me. But this is the stuff that they say is the best stuff, because they're like, oh wow, man, I didn't realize you guys have all those problems too. Day 2 are hot seats. So everyone who's a part of the group gets to come to the front of the room for about 20 minutes, and they say, yo, this is my business. I'm struggling with this. These are my pain points. I tell the guys, you can't fix what you fake. So this isn't the room to project. We get rid of the egos, and guys say, we're not making sales, or this launch really flopped, or hey, I'm having a hard time growing this platform. And this is where we give them those big ideas. We connect them with the right people, because this isn't about what to do. It's about who can you get to do these things for you. So you can buy yourself speed, and we help them make introductions and just identify what's constraining revenue today, because it's so easy to get caught up in things that don't matter. I like the analogy of building a business like putting together a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, and people will come in and start talking about pieces 900 to 1,000, when I'm like, yo, can we focus on pieces 1 to 10 today? And all I need you to focus on is putting together these pieces 1 to 10 before you come back to the mastermind in Vancouver in May, or Toronto in August. And that's how we start to build this business. And we remind them, guys, I've been at this for 12 years. You got to compare your before with the guy who you're looking up to, his before. You can't compare your before with my after. And just help them get grounded and fight the battles that are right in front of them today, as opposed to overloading them with a gazillion ideas they can't take action on, and then they get demotivated and feel like they don't belong, and then they mentally tap out, and then they quit.
Yeah, because this day and age, I think that it's really tough for people to get focused, really stay focused. And I think, someone like myself, I'm involved in a whole bunch of things, but when I first started Nutrabolics, it was just Nutrabolics. I was ground and pound every day, on the road, 14 hours, 13 hours. I don't even know what time it is. It doesn't matter what time it is. I don't even know when lunch is. It doesn't matter when lunch is, we were just go. And nowadays, with all the social media, coming at you from every angle, everything, it's so easy to turn this way or turn that way or go up this stream. So I think definitely getting focused is key, and I think that that's one of the things that when I'm working with people, even in my business, I get all these ideas, and half the time my job is just to be able to say no. Being able to know what I can say no to, and what I need to say yes to, and then getting the team to zone in and just laser focus. Get something done, get it done right, and then move on to the next thing. Because one of the things I hear from a ton of entrepreneurs is, I hired all these people, and then, sales went down, so I fired them all. you know, and I'm like, well, why don't you try hiring one, you know, start with one, you know, and then let's move on to the next one, you know, it's like, so, but yeah, no, I like what you're saying there. And I want to talk to you a little bit about, you know, right now, this M5 movement. You know, a lot of people have been talking about it. You know, how do people get involved? If I want to act right now, how do I get into the M5 movement?
Yeah, M5max.com. We actually only open it up the last few days of the month, but we give away a first issue for free. So you can test drive it, get it sent to your house. If you like it, it's just $50 a month, or you can pay it for the year in full. There's a little offer on the checkout page for $300. So it's a simple way it's a most cost-effective way to start getting access to what I'm doing. And yeah, that's it, M5max.com. And you know, I got clothing, but I don't really even promote it anymore, just because, like you said, it's a distraction. You know, people are like, is he a clothing guy? Is he a business coach? Is he a fitness guy? So I launched that. I pretty much just give it away for free as gifts. You know, I launched it without, you know, it was an emotional kind of thing, but I didn't need it. Let's put it that way. Not having a clothing line was not the thing constraining my business growth. And that's one thing we really teach guys and gals, like, is this the thing constraining your leap to the next level? And most of the time the answer is no. Sometimes it is like, it's a, you know, resounding yes, that's it. Like, kill everything else, let's double down on this. But most of the time I just have to say, put that on the backlog. And you know, most people have too many ideas. Like, the idea of fiery strikes me all the time too, but I mean, I need 10 decades to get through all the ideas that I have. So I just, like you said, you got to just say, use that, you know, most powerful word in the dictionary. You know, that's the definition of focus, actually. Being able to defend your one yes with 1,000 no's.
Yeah. So Vince, is there anything you want to ask me before we wrap up here today? Anything at all, or Nutrabolics in general?
Yeah. Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're going.
No, I want to hear about what you guys are looking forward to these days. What's the big thing you guys are looking forward to?
I'd say the big thing, we got some new products in the pipeline right now. We got a new keto product that's coming out, and we're working on a bar. We're working on a lot of stuff that's kind of finally coming to fruition. You know, it's been years. We've been working on some really great products, and you know, for us, I mean, when we come out with a product, it's got to have everything going for it. You know, it's got to taste good, mix good. It's got to be priced right. It's got to have great marketing. So, you know, for us, some of these game-changing products that we're about to launch, they've taken a lot longer than anticipated. You know, a lot of companies, you know, they'll try to bang a product out in 6 months, whereas, you know, we might take 2 to 3 years, you know, like, so some of these products are finally coming to the realization where 2019 Nutrabolics is going to be making some huge statements. Like, we are going to be dropping some big statements, and we're also, obviously, the podcast is getting a lot of momentum these days. We've got a lot of cool, interesting guests. We're booked up almost all of 2019 just on the podcast. Like, it's crazy already. And yeah, so
what's the goal with your podcast?
I want to develop a deeper connection with our audience. You know, that's really the goal, is, you know, and continue to have, you know, meet new people, expand our network, and, you know, let people know about what's going on through Nutrabolics, just through the conversations that we're having. You know, like, hey, you know, I don't want to always be selling. Nobody wants to be sold, you know. So I want to bring people to Nutrabolics to kind of find out and just hear what's going on. Just like through our conversations, meeting new people, you know, I get a chance to talk to you. We may, you know, let out a few bits of information. But the podcast really, for me, is also to tap into other people's network too, right? So,
absolutely.
You know, we're gonna, you know, today it's like my goal when I talk to you is, I want to let people know, you know, what's going on in terms of, you know, with you, but I also want people to come check you out, you know. So I'm trying to, like, give you as many plugs, you know, as I possibly can, you know, like, to drive our customers to you, and in turn, hopefully, you'll drive some of your people to us, and together, you know, we'll build. You know, I mean, now, you know, I say you can only go so far alone, right? I mean, if we expand with all these different influencers and people, it's just growing and growing and growing. I mean, we're already getting some pretty incredible stats from some of these launches. Like some of our guests have really went above and beyond, and it's really expanding, and I'm excited. I'm excited also for Nutrabolics in terms of we've got some new people coming on board to our team. We're going to be releasing some announcements, and it's just lots of cool stuff happening.
Let me ask you, what moves the needle for you guys, for supplement companies? Is it like having the names of the products? What do you really have to double down on to see that, like maybe
you double
exponential
down,
quad and leap kind of thing?
Double down on what the customer what the customer is saying. What the reaction is, how the turn rate is. So we'll launch a product, and if it's going well, right, and we see that the customers, then we'll start doubling down, meaning more flavors, more sizes, more marketing, right? The moment that we're feeling like, because we have a lot of SKUs, right? So the moment I start seeing that, hey, there's huge demand in one area of the business, we start doubling down, right? We're using the methodical approach, right? I'm not going to go, I want to, as a brand, as an owner, we want to double down on stuff we don't have to sell. I believe that I shouldn't have to sell. Our products are that good that if you're actually out there explaining the products, testing or showing, having people try the products, I don't sell. Like I don't want to be selling. You shouldn't have to be selling, is what I tell my sales guys. These products that I'm giving you are so freaking good that your job is to explain the product, let the customers, let the people, let the staff try the product, okay? And that's all you should be doing, and that will sell the product. You shouldn't have to be pushing. There should be no selling. It's about developing these tight-knit relationships that you foster. We're constantly fostering, nurturing, just like you had out the cards, right? I'm all about touch points, though. I'm all about every time I get an opportunity to talk to my customer. Okay? For me, that's key. Any opportunity is a good opportunity, whether it's a complaint, whether a customer calls me up and tells me that, hey, you know what? This product came late. You're 4 days late, which sometimes that our biggest complaint has nothing to do with Nutrabolics. It can be a trucking company, went to the wrong address, or the warehouse that we use, they couldn't get it out on time. That it has nothing to do with, actually, people don't know this, that yes, we use them as our third parties, but I mean, we don't control every point. We can't control the warehouse, the shipment. I mean, there's only so much we can do. So for us, I mean, to answer your question, not to get off topic, it's definitely developing the connection with the customer, listening to the customers, and doubling down on what is selling. What people are already buying. That's when we start to go heavy. Like if you look at our roster, like one SKU could make up, or one product could make up 27 SKUs. Wow. Yes. Is that something we double down on? Oh yeah, we double down on it. And if you want a piece of that market share, like as a competitor, you've got to bring a lot to the table, because now I've just cemented my with 27 SKUs, your one or two flavors, you're just going to be a spec. You're going to be you're going to be selling business. But when I got 27 SKUs coming at you at 3 different flavors, or 9 flavors, 3 sizes, what's up?
Wow,
that's what I always say.
That's crazy.
But we got
which product of that is yours? Which one is that? Anabolic
State, we go pretty hard on. That's been a big one. I got 27 SKUs of that, I think, about right now. Different products like a Mass Fusion, which is a big product for us. I mean, we've got, our Supernova. I mean, there's a few of them that we, if you look at, like, say, if you were a customer, you look at the Nutrabolics price list, it's not hard to figure out what we sell a lot of, because if I got a ton of freaking SKUs, that probably tells you, it's like when I'm looking at the competitors, I say to my marketing team, I say, we don't need to call these companies up and ask them how they're doing. We need to see, what are they marketing, if they're launching new flavors, how many sizes. That's what's selling. Okay, I don't need to call anybody. Forget the phone, hang up the phone. We're not needing to call anybody. We don't need to know how much they're selling. Just focus on what we see in front of us. The answers, like a lot of people think they need to pick up the phone and check. No, you need to look, frankly, just look and see what people are doing. Like if we're doubling down on something, everybody knows it. Like right now I'm doubling down on the podcast, okay? And everybody knows I'm doubling down on the podcast, because the podcast is paying for me tenfold. You know, think about this, right? We have this podcast. You know, today in the podcast, we develop a connection. You can tap into my network, I tap into your network. Who knows where it goes, because we both have big networks, right? If I do that 52 times a year, my network, Nutrabolics, everything behind us grows. You know?
It's the best ROI for your money. It's the best ROI you'll ever see on your money. You know, working, you know, collaborating with other influencers and celebrities and experts, authorities. It's the single best place to put your time. And it's, I totally agree. I'm doing the same right now. I just signed on with a company that their job is to get you on better and better podcasts. So, you know, I'm in San Diego this weekend. I'm going to link up with a couple cool people. And just doing more of that, just adding more, you know, gas to that fire, if you will, because once you're at the top, then it's just I think people want to buy from people they like, know, and trust, people who are authorities, people that are celebrities. You know, if I'm picking where I'm going, that's the party I want to be associated with. I want to be in that circle. So I think it's great. I think you guys are going to see some awesome stuff, and it's fun. I mean, you get to learn from others, you get to introduce your world to new people. I mean, I can't think of a cooler way to spend your time too.
No, I like that. Listen, Vince, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we wish you all the best. I'll be in touch, I'm sure.
All right, Jay. Well, thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Okay.
It's an honor to be on your show.